You will not believe what just happened. We just got confirmation that the crypto bull run is about to begin. Several key pieces of economic data from the US is about to impact the Fed's rate cut decision next week. In this video, I'm going to break down what that information is, what the Fed is likely to do, and why that makes me so excited as a crypto investor. So let's get into this video. Like and subscribe down below. Give me 10 minutes, and I'm going to break down why you should be max convicted in the coming months. So guys, we had inflation come out on Wednesday and Thursday, PPI Wednesday, CPI Thursday, both bullish, both right at or below expectations, very slightly above in some cases. We can work with that. This is good for crypto. This is good for altcoins because this means the Fed can cut rates. Inflation is not a problem. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and cut rates. Inflation is behaving itself. Don't stress about it, Jay. Go ahead and cut those rates. You can see it on your screen. We got 0.4%. up from a little bit above the expected, 0.3% here, 0.3% here, perfect. CPI is good. So we got PPI minus 0.1%. They were expecting plus 0.3%, very bullish. And then we have 0.3% up above the expected 0.2%, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Inflation is good. This is a big deal for us as investors, not a big deal for the Fed. Don't worry about inflation. Go ahead and cut those rates. This is good because we're going to get more liquidity. We're going to get more price appreciation as money flows into markets, as investors go further out on the risk curve, and as business owners and private households feel more comfortable borrowing money at cheaper borrowing costs. That's what the Fed controls. But wait, it gets even better because we had jobless claims come out on Thursday as well, and we're seeing the labor market weakening. So not only is inflation data coming in perfect, we don't need to worry about inflation, you do need to worry about the labor market. Go ahead and cut those rates. Initial claims, 263,000 initial claims, up 30,000 from the expected. Continuing claims, up almost 100,000 from the expected. Go ahead and cut those rates. I think we could see 25. I think we could see 50 basis points. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because they're going to start cutting rates. I think we're going to see at least 3 cuts by the end of the year. I think we're going to see one next week in September, and then at the following 2 FOMC meetings that we get before year end. And so guys, I got a quick clip from Rebecca Walser. She runs her own wealth management fund. She thinks that markets are already pricing in 3 cuts by the end of the year. That's 75 basis points at least. If they do 50 next week, that's 100. Check it out what she has to say.
But the market is absolutely expecting more than just a 25 cut. I mean, I think the market at this point is pretty much pricing in 3 cuts for 2025, the September meeting, the October meeting, the December meeting. And then we will be the January, when you look at the actual odds on probabilities on the Fed Watch tool, that's where we get a bifurcation. In January, we get a split where we'll get another 25 cut or we will get a 0 cut. And so that's kind of where the market is, the pause is on the probabilities. But for the most part, everyone has an expectation that we're going to get 3 consecutive cuts here, at least 25 bips.
So more rate cuts means more liquidity, means investors going further out on the risk curve, alt season coming up, but we need to start at Bitcoin. We need to start at square one. And so here we go, Bitcoin. We got US M2 money supply in white. We got Bitcoin in red. As money supply goes higher and rate cuts will push this higher, we see Bitcoin follows this up. This is a connection that many people are familiar with. Bitcoin will follow money supply up and down typically because it can price in that debasement. It can price in that currency debasement. And so as more rate cuts come, we see Bitcoin trending higher. And eventually we see that trickle down into the alts. We see Ethereum and then into the large caps, into alt season. This is going to play out over the next few months, possibly even into 2026. And so as more central banks cut rates, what we will see is more liquidity coming into the global financial market. So here we got 67% of central banks around the world in a net easing mode over the last 6 months. And we've also got a 76% of countries in recovery or expansion stage. Now, what does that mean? This is the business cycle. And this is another very important part to alt season if we want to understand how we get there and how we can start to forecast when and why we get there. And so rate cuts really helps get the business cycle going. It helps get the gears turning by making borrowing money cheaper. If you're starting a business, if you're trying to pay off money, if you're trying to build a new house, whatever it is, whatever you need money to do economic activity with, lowering rates helps you achieve that, helps you get that money in. And so there's a very strong connection between the business cycle and altcoins. And you can see it here on your screen. This is the ISM, stands for the Institute for Supply Management. Essentially, it's a survey they give to supply chain managers, understanding how your business is doing. They do this all over the world. And then based on the responses, they give a score somewhere between 30 to 70. Above 50 means the economy is expanding. Below 50 means the economy is contracting. What we want to see is expansion. Take a look at 2020, 2021 right here. This is the ISM going up to about 65. Look at what altcoins did. Altcoins as a percentage of Bitcoin total market cap. So as the ISM goes higher, as the business cycle expands, as the economy expands, we see altcoins going higher because people have more money, people have more jobs, people have more hours and more confidence in the economy. They're getting more contracts, they're getting more work. And everyone around them is just starting to feel better about things. There's more economic activity. It's the ebb and the flow of markets. And you can see that depicted in this chart here. Look at this. We have a ebb and flow of markets here. Understanding this ebb and flow of markets, understanding that there is a cycle to markets, to central bank rate cutting, into business cycle, economic expansions and contractions, understanding the cycle here really helps you build conviction in what's coming. I haven't panic sold any of my bags during any of these dips because I know the cycle, I know what drives it, and I know what's ahead. And what is ahead is economic expansion and a rate cutting cycle driving altcoins higher. And again, have a look at this chart. We have just been sitting around the 50 mark. We're not expanding or contracting in the economy. We are just waiting. We're waiting to go higher. And you can see that depicted here. World business confidence, major regions, Europe, the Americas, and Asia, reporting lowest business confidence since the lows of COVID. But that is about to change. That is about to change as the Fed starts to pump money into markets. It's about to change as we see tariff and trade clarity come from the Trump administration when they finally get that trade deal with China, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent signaling that is coming up in the weeks ahead. This is how it happens. This is the key. And understanding this can make you a much calmer, more patient, and ultimately more profitable investor. And so this is the magic of understanding macro. We went from understanding simple inflation data earlier this week to extrapolating it out to world central banks and countries all around the world expanding their economies and the altcoin market surging as a result. Understanding these connections, understanding the larger picture at play, helps me become a more confident, patient investor. It gives me the conviction I need to sit comfortably through volatility. And I want to instill that in you as well. It's why I created this channel, and it's why I'm so excited to bring you updates every week as to what's going on in the big picture, so that you can stay convicted, so that you can sit comfortably through volatility and come out the other side with the gains that we all desire. And if you want to keep up to date with those developments, become a more confident investor, make sure you like and subscribe down below. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've learned anything. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.